Don't touch my beard.
No, who's saying that? Don't touch my beard.
I said that.
You guys, have you guys ever heard the story, just quickly before we start, about the little kid in the beard with me? Whoever told you this? Has a really quick story, really quick story. I was at my son's basketball game a year ago, and it was an incredible basketball game. And I couldn't even sit in the stands. I got right onto the floor, and I'm like this, watching the game go back and forth. My son was playing great. It was super exciting. And then out of nowhere, this little kid, barely able to walk, comes walking across to me and just looks at me like this. And I'm like, oh, hey little boy. And he just reaches up, grabs a handful of my beard, which was much longer, and just pulls. And I'm like, whoa, pulled my whole head down. And his face was like, you are Santa Claus. Before Christmas. So his mom told him Santa Claus was over there. And then the entire bench on the other team started laughing because the kid's older brother was playing. So they watched him pull my beard. It was really funny. Kids, astonishment. It is Santa Claus. The mummy was right. Santa Claus is real, and I was Santa Claus. Anyway, forget about
The resemblance is striking.
I didn't expect it at all. Anyway, guys, listen. Great to see everybody here. I hope it looks like a lot of familiar faces from Monday's class. Hopefully, you've been playing with it a little bit. Any questions for Monday's class? We're going to go over it in a different way. Plus, I've got a little extra stuff I'm going to add just from some conversations. Everybody remembered it was just trying to find the difference between the mind and the body, right? So the analogies I gave were like you have a musician that studies how to play. Let me mute everybody, guys, just so you're not. Let me mute all. There we go. Okay. Okay. Great. So the analogies I gave were of a musician learning how to play, and it's he's thinking about what he's doing, but then after a while, the next level up is feeling the music. So he doesn't have to look at where his fingers are, but he feels the music, right? And that's one example. Or the same with a chef or food, you're cooking technically, like, and then later on you go by feel of how many ingredients. So for those of you that have grandmothers, they never wrote a recipe down. Okay, they felt, they could smell the food, they tasted it, needs a little bit more. Like they're very good with the feel of something as compared to thinking about it. Okay, and as martial artists, the key important thing here is that when we want to study technical, we want to think about it because it makes us happy, like we're thinking. But in real life situations, we need to understand to feel that situation, right? That's more important than thinking for survival. So survival is a feel thing, and thinking is kind of more like makes us happy, so to speak, right? So it's kind of like that. It's like they always talk about book smarts and street smarts. It's like that thing. The street smarts, you feel something is not right. Book smarts, you think it all the time. You're always thinking, right? So that's the kind of general lay of the land. So we'll review some of the stuff we did at the beginning about on Monday, and then we'll do some extra stuff. Sounds like a plan? Any questions at all? Anything, guys? You feel okay? Awesome. Remember, just keep practicing this stuff. That's the only thing I ask of you. Like, great that you're watching, but just practice, even 5 or 10 minutes. It'll really hit home. And the real big monumental is if you can do 30 days or 45 days, like that's the key, you'll really see something big there, and that will freak you out. That'll freak you out, because the fact that you can actually, that this stuff actually works is crazy. That's the real stuff. Like that's the it's like, wow, it's not heebie-jeebie, it's actually quite deep. So remember yesterday, last class, I talked to you guys about breathing. So thinking. So right now we're going to do a lot of thinking. So I want you to think about the tip of your nose. Okay, just think of the very tip of it, right? And you could touch it if you need, but just think of the tip. So it's like, imagine you're smelling something, like it's just on the tip. It's not in the lungs, right? So I want you to take a deep breath in and think of the tip of your nose. So you can visualize the air coming in through the front here. And then that's all. Don't worry about anything else. And then just exhale it out. And now think about the bridge of the nose, so not the tip anymore, but as I'm breathing in, I want to see if I can visualize the air coming through this like 1.5 inches, some of you bigger noses than others, but 1.5 inch space as the air goes up. So breathe in and then out. Now, for you, I don't know, but for me, I can tell you that I felt like my whole nose become a little warmer when I did that. The tip before, when I focused on the tip, but now I could actually feel air going through the nostrils, which is interesting. And what you might feel, for some of you seasoned martial artists, you might feel how the inside, the septum in here is kind of crooked. You might feel more air coming on one side than the other side, right? You might. Okay. Now I want you to focus on from the, let's say here, the bridge of the nose to the back of the neck. So in that part where it goes down past and into, not down the neck, but to the skull, right? This might be challenging. Just try it. So breathe in. And you should feel something deeper in the back of your head, and then breathe out. And now try think about your neck. So the air as it comes in going down just your neck. So for that period right here. So. And out. And now think about from your neck down to your belly. So that straight away here, that runway down, right? And then out. So this is thinking. You thought about just your inhale, okay? Now I want you just to inhale. Don't think about it at all. If you need something to kind of think about, but if you need a feeling, think about pressure. So as I'm breathing in, I'm not thinking about the inhale. What I'm feeling is the pressure build up in my chest, on my stomach. And then what I'm feeling is the air leaving and the pressure removing from my lungs. So the visual I have is the feeling is pressure. So take a deep breath in. Feel the pressure build up in your chest. Feel the pressure build up in your stomach. And now when you breathe out, feel the pressure remove from your stomach and chest. So you're not thinking, but now you're feeling. And try that a few times just on your own. So it's not thinking, but feeling your inhale as a pressure, not as a thought. Very good. Good. So hopefully, I think you can all feel how you can think. There's nothing wrong with thinking about your breathing, which is because you're bringing attention to it. But then you want to, as soon as you get that, you want to let it go and start focusing on the feeling. Like focus on the feeling as fast as you can. Like once you get the technical, then it's all feeling. You know, I can't stress it enough. Like too many martial artists get caught up on the technical and they stay there because it's a known and they feel comfortable. It's just like life. Too many people don't go there. You got to feel it. Living a good life has a feeling, not a series of words. It's a feeling, right? It just feels right. So yeah, this is the one I wanted, right? So now let's try it with the exhale. So stay nice and straight in your chair. So just breathe in and don't worry about the inhale. Just breathe in. And as you breathe out, I want you to feel it on your lips. Now, if you want, just lick your lips quickly. And then as you breathe out, you can feel it, right? So you're just feeling it on the very tip of your mouth. Try it one more time. Dennis just got here. He's being a bad boy. So one more time, we take a deep breath in. We don't worry about it. Just breathe in, whatever. And as you breathe out now, you want to feel it just on the tip of your lips, cooling. Good. Take breath in. And now I want you to feel the exhale on your mouth, inside your mouth. So you might make your mouth bigger. So you don't feel it on your lips now, you feel it in your mouth. You feel the air coming out your mouth. Like, watch me for a sec, guys. Don't be shy. Watch. When you're breathing out like this, where you want to feel it in your mouth, you have to open your mouth. So if I want to feel my lips, I keep them tighter, like whistling, like I feel tighter. If I want to feel it in my mouth, I'm like, yeah. You feel it's almost like steam. One is like fire, the other one's like a steam. Yeah, and you feel it inside of your mouth. Very good. Much better. Good. Breathe in again. And you want to feel it, the exhale coming from your throat now, just this part, right? So relax your neck, open your mouth, and exhale from your throat. Think of how you have to clear your throat. Like, don't do it in public, otherwise they'll be weird now. They'll laugh at you. Or if you're gonna do it, be on the subway. That's my favorite. Very good. Inhale now. And now exhale from the body or from the lungs. You can feel like you feel this lungs squeezing. Now just inhale, exhale on your own. Now, a little trick. If you don't want to get so mad, like this happens now more often than not with my kids than anybody else, because everybody's at home, right? When you get mad, just try this. Instead of getting mad where you do something like this, where you breathe in, and then when you're really mad, it's like you just force it out of your nostrils like fire. If you're not that mad, but still mad, it's like, you've ever done that, right? It's like you're siphoning off steam. Try the next time you get mad. Just try it, but you got to catch yourself. Is when you get mad, just go, and you see you won't be as mad. You'll still be mad. Don't worry. I'll save you some mad. It's good. It feels good to be mad sometimes, but at least not overreacting. When you open your mouth and you let the air come out, it's like your body doesn't interpret how mad you are. It's really interesting. I've tried it a few times. Even when I'm driving and something upsets me, it's like, and it comes out not like a fire, but like a steam. And it's a little bit easier to cope with. It's not so, it doesn't upset you as much, right? So if you're a 10 out of 10, you're like an 8 out of 10. If you're 7, you're like a 6. It just brings you down a notch from being angry, right? So if you have questions, ask me, guys. It's a lot, like I'm throwing a lot at you, but a lot of it I think you have to play with. But if you ever have a question, just ask me. So let's go now. Or somebody have a question? No? Okay. Okay. So now let's just go by feeling. So I want you to breathe in for like 5 seconds. Don't think about your inhale. Just think about the pressure. So breathe in, feel pressure in the lungs and in the stomach, and then breathe out, let it go out. Try to imagine you're sleeping, guys. You didn't think about breathing. It's just your body does it automatic. And if you really need to pay attention to something, pay attention to the rise and the fall. Like pay attention to like the wave of breathing, not the technical, but the feeling of that wave in the water. Now, without stopping, quickly switch to thinking about breathing. So thinking can be counting, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like think about it. Like think about your inhale, think about your exhale. Like put a number to it, something like that, or visualize the air coming in, visualize the air coming out. But it's a very thoughtful breath. Like you're not feeling it, but you're thinking about it. Great, guys. Very good. Awesome. So another analogy that just came to me, you're watching, I love watching athletes at the beginning of the game. You see them warming up. So you could see them specifically, stretching the hamstring, my quad. You can see them specifically warming up each muscle. You just see it, their neck, whatever they're doing. And then the game starts. You don't see anything. You just see them playing the game, running, catching, tackling. They're doing whatever. You didn't see. It's all by feel. The motion of the game, the emotion. You can actually feel the crowd get into it. Not now, but you feel the crowd. And so we train technical, but we play from emotions. That's that thing. And emotions are connected to how you feel. So you're teaching yourself how to be attentive to your emotions. And fighting is an emotion. Somebody got pissed off. It's an emotion. So a little bit of this work will go a long way. Unfortunately, you'll be that player that plays good in the game, but practices very average. So you have to decide, you want to be the guy that practices amazing and plays average, or do you want to be the guy that practices average and plays amazing? Because that's a difference. You want to impress in practice, or you want to impress on the field. These are the decisions you have to make. Do you want to have a body that looks good but be unhealthy, or do you want to have a body that doesn't look, but you really are healthy? Right? It really depends on what you want. I want you guys to survive and know your emotions, not so much for fighting, but for our complex society now, which is really important. Okay. So now stand up for me. Okay. So now let's apply this to walking quickly, and then some of the other stuff we'll branch out. So stay nice and straight. And I want you to take, it doesn't matter if you're in frame or out of frame. I just need you to take 5 very thoughtful steps. So you can count the number, and I want you to measure each step. 5 steps. And then stop. And now take 5 steps in any direction you feel like you want to go. It doesn't really matter to me. Like, see how you feel. And again, take 5 thoughtful steps, from the mind, and then try to take a bunch of steps by where you feel. It could be backwards and sideways. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. It's an interesting thing, guys. I know it might seem silly, but really, every room and every place has a feeling, and you need to understand that feeling. And you're at home now, so you should be very comfortable, and you should know the good spots in the room where they feel the best. If you really want to challenge, you can try this with your eyes closed, as long as you have a little bit of space. So sit still and just take 5 thoughtful steps with your eyes open. 5 thoughtful steps with your eyes closed, and then take 5 steps where you feel. And sometimes when your eyes are closed, you feel it a little bit better. Another way is you think and keep your eyes open, and you close your eyes and you feel. Both can work for you. So walk the road with your eyes open, you're thinking, close your eyes and feel. Good. Sit down on the ground now. Sit down on the ground. So in wherever room you're at right now, I know some of you are limited with space, but I want you to make 5 movements on the ground. So if go left or go right, or so just make 5 distinct movements on the ground by thinking, like think about what you're doing, and then try and make those same movements with your eyes closed by feel. Try, see if it works for you. So move on the ground, but should be very thoughtful. Front, back, left, right, and then close your eyes and just go by feel. And do those same movements and try to feel them. Remember, guys, moving on the ground, it's like a fountain of youth. It's not. Your body will feel much younger if you do this. Like move on the ground more often at home. It's really, don't worry about what people think. It's beautiful. You feel much younger, and the body starts to take a much better shape. So very mindful movement, and then really nice, Aram. Really good. Miro, nice too. Alberto, really good. Nice. Don't rush, guys. The feeling part is just so good to feel. Don't rush through it. Really good. Lie flat on your back. Lie flat on your back. So put your legs together. And so try to first listen to the movement. You're bringing your legs from the floor to a 90-degree position above, and you're bringing it down, okay? And I want you to visualize that now. So it's very technical. You're thinking about everything. Do 5 of those. Very technical. Look at your breathing, look at your body position, relax your upper body. And then you try 5, and if it helps to close your eyes and do 5 of those leg raises and feel the movement. Feel what the movement does to you. Feel how when you, at the top, your body shakes a little bit. When you put it at the bottom, your body tightens a little bit. Try to feel what the leg raise did to your body. So one, you're thinking about what it's doing. The other one, you're feeling what it did to your body. How it moves it, or how it tightens it, or how it relaxes it. Looks good, guys. Keep going. I can't see the feel thing. Feel is inside you. You just have to, quiet yourself, quiet your mind, and just feel. Awesome, guys. Lift up one leg. Lift up one leg. Yeah, you can bend the other one if you want. I mean, whatever feels comfortable for you, right? So I want you to imagine, I guess, a kind of, uh, I don't know, like a clock, I guess. So you have 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock. So move your leg around these different parts and just visualize and think about the clock. So you bring your foot to 12, bring it to 6, bring it to 9 and 3 and 2:30, 1:30, 5:30, like move it around. Yeah. From one side to the other. So you're really thinking about what you're doing right now with your leg. It's a very thoughtful process. Now close your eyes and just start moving your leg as much as you can around. Don't think about where it is. Just let it float in the air. Yeah, let it go anywhere it wants. Very good. Now try your other leg. Pick up your other leg. So you lift up your leg. And again, first it's a clock. You're just visualizing, 9, and you can say it, 10 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Just visualize the clock. You can go, the times can be random, or they could be like the second clock going around. It could just be a very constant movement around. It doesn't matter as long as you're being very thoughtful about it. Don't strain yourself, guys. It's not. Don't want you to break something. Just to have a visual. And now, let the leg do whatever it wants. Let it go free. It can go wherever it wants as long as it's in the air. Go anywhere it likes. Try let your leg go free. Like don't hold it back. Try to feel what's happening in your leg. That leg that's up, try to feel, and also the leg that's on the ground. Like feel how, even though it's doing nothing, it reacts to the other leg as well. There is communication between the two legs. So you can, if it gets tired, you can switch the leg at the time. But try to feel now how your movements affect you, even how the leg moves around affects the stomach, it affects the back, it affects the upper body. Any movement is connected to the whole. Awesome, guys. Very good. Just unmute yourself. Did you notice anything? Just come on up and talk to me. Hopefully you can hear me. Could you feel a difference when you let the leg go? Could you see what was any felt difference at all?
Yeah, Manny, for me, the thinking about the distances helped me like kind of push through tightness. But then when I was letting it loose, it just felt like a different kind of stretch. I don't know how to explain it. I think both are important.
Yeah, they are. So for those of you who know, Michael's a really good massage guy, and I can't tell you how good he is. So if you ever want to book it, you can book it through him. A little plug for you there, Mike. But yeah, but I will tell you this. I think I'm pretty relaxed, but after a massage with Michael, I feel totally different. I'm like, you don't realize, like, that's the problem. Like, and I'm not saying that I didn't feel good, but I'm at a different level of good. Like I am like, that's why most professional athletes get a massage before the game and after the game. Now they're a little bit different, but they prepare the body differently. One is I mean, I can stretch myself, but another person can go deeper. You almost need to get out of your own head, right? You need to almost get out of your own head, right? A lot of you I've talked to some of you practice, whether it's prayer or meditation, whatever it is that you do, you realize that being able to shut off our mind is a real gift, and to say, I don't need you right now. You're good for a lot of stuff, but I need to give you a break, and I need to feel a little bit more. And that's what meditation and mindfulness is. It just slows everything down so that you can appreciate it a lot more. Okay, so when I go by feeling, I tend to find all my old injuries. I tend to find out patterns that I haven't forgotten. And it also, I feel more young. I feel more youthful. It's like, you know, a kid just goes wherever they want. You know, it didn't have to practice an order, which usually drives adults, right? Like, why did you not do it this? You know, we have an order. They'll have the chocolate bar before the dinner, right? They didn't care, right? It's every once in a while I do that too. But anyway, because of the
it feels, yeah, maybe to add to it, Manny, it feels effortless when you're not thinking. It's amazing how we spend all of our day thinking, and yet when we have to think about something concretely, it is an effort. Whereas when you're sleeping and dreaming, you're still thinking, but it feels relaxing and effortless. So conscious versus subconscious mind, you can really feel through these exercises.
Yeah, it's great, guys. Like a lot of you know, thank you. Like a lot of you know that I love getting out into the woods. And when you look at animals, like whether it's a salmon or a deer or whatever animal that if I go fishing, if you want to catch a fish, you have to know what comfortable temperature it likes. They love a certain temperature. And if the water is that temperature, you'll find them at that temperature. That's it. They want to be comfortable, because the salmon didn't say, well, you know, I feel like, they just want to be, they're not that smart. It's just, I need to be comfortable, and they find comfort, right? And if any of you have a dog or a cat, you realize they want to be comfortable. If they're not comfortable, they're not happy, right? So their minds maybe not as clever like that, but their feeling is off the charts. That's why a dog can tell a bad person much faster than me and you, right? Because they can feel the person, right? So this will really take your skills to a whole other level, okay? Really a whole other level. Anybody else, Ron?
Yeah, there's I've been, as you know, Manny, I've been working a lot with the stick and doing a lot of stick work on my own, and learning from some of these guys in Russia. And what's interesting, they said that when you want to try to get speed, especially, that if you start thinking about it, you can't, your mind isn't fast enough or can't process. So he goes, you'd never be able to, and this guy moves the stick around like it's unbelievable, but he says, like, you can't, he said, if I think about this, I'm gonna get scared, it's gonna fly out of my hand. So it's very interesting, this thing about turning your mind off, because you feel it, at least for it's mostly, I feel it when I'm working with the stick. And as soon as you start thinking about what you're doing, it falls out of my hand. But if I'm not thinking about it, it's very smooth. I'm not even thinking about it, and it's all feel, balance points, all these things. So it's quite interesting what you're talking about.
So guys, remember now Ram has you have a built-in punishment. Like if you start thinking the stick's going to whack you,
Yeah.
right? You're hurt. It's not pleasant, right?
For sure.
A race car is the same thing. If you start thinking about some of those 200-kilometer speeds that some of these drivers will go through on it, if you think about it, you'll crash.
Yeah.
There's a wonderful documentary on 60 Minutes about a free climber. So this is a guy who climbs up a mountain with no harness. Okay, so there is no going back. There's only up. Back is dead. You fall. And you listen to these guys talk about not thinking about climbing. Because I remember the 60-minute commentator said, so how high up is he? The coach at the bottom said, that guy is, well, because let me put it this way. 400-year-old redwoods look like toothpicks. And that was it. And then he looked away, looked back up at the climber. He looked back at the reporter. He goes, fear comes to a man real quick up there.
Yeah, I would bet.
And he goes, and you got to be able to dial it back real quick. Mm-hmm. So he didn't say you don't get scared. You got to be able to dial it back. Right. And again, because there is no, like we live our life where we think there's options. There is no option up there. You got to go up. There's no coming down. You can't trace your way back. You got to keep going up. With the stick, it hits you right away. You see the punishment. Right. When I'm doing when I do my archery, if I'm thinking that shot's going to be bad and I can see it because the arrow is not on the target. It's that simple. There's immediate feedback. But with martial arts, sometimes we don't see the immediate feedback. We get away with the mistakes sometimes. Opera and rock and roll. Good luck finding the mistake in rock and roll. In opera, you're going to see the mistake like that because there's nothing hiding it. You're out there, right? Stand-up comics. Stand-up comics. A wonderful podcast I listened to with Jerry Seinfeld. And he made a wonderful analogy. Stand-up comic is like a surfboard. It's just you and the wave. You have to ride this wave. You can control this. It goes for most people, like other forms of entertainment, it's like a ship. It's like a cruise liner. No one will even know. Like you're on a surfboard, you're naked out there in the water. It's one thing to be in the open ocean with a surfboard. It's another thing to be on a yacht. Right? That's the big difference, right? Because they asked him the difference between stand-up comedy and his show, his 10-year show called Seinfeld, after his name, right? He goes, the show was like a yacht. He goes, stand-up comedy is a surfboard. See the difference? It's one is more comfortable. The other one, you're out there and you're naked. If something goes wrong on the surfboard, it goes real wrong, right? So, sorry.
Wim Hof.
Yeah, Wim Hof.
Wim Hof says, I go to fear before fear comes to me.
100%. There you go. This is deep stuff, guys. So you got to feel fear, right? You got to feel it. So, okay, good. So I'm going to show you guys. So you got the idea. You can do with the push-ups, the squats, the leg raises. Let me show you. You did kind of something similar with the legs, and I'm going to show you with the rest of the body. So lie down on your stomachs. Go quickly. Lie down on your stomachs. And so put your hands beside you in a push-up. You can kind of see Dennis over here. I might be able to watch if you want to see him as well, right? So Dennis is going to do just a straight up push-up, just straight up. One up and down. Good. Down. Okay, good. So if you see his hands are at 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock, right? That's the clock. So now I want him to put one fist only. I want it to move it up. So let's say using his right hand. So his right hand would be at 3 o'clock. So he's going to put it to 2 o'clock and do a push-up. He's going to go down. Now he's going to put that same hand at 1 o'clock and come up and down. He's put that same hand at 12 o'clock now and up. And he's going to go, and he's going to go all the way around the clock as far as he can, down and up with one hand, and then he's going to do it with the other hand. Try it, everybody. You can stay on your knees if you want. It doesn't matter. But with one hand, you move around the clock. Okay? And really have that visual in your hand. What you're going to see is, and what you're going to not feel, but I just want you to think right now. So now you're thinking about the clock. Be obsessed about it. And when you finish with one hand, you try it with the other. Yeah, remember to breathe, guys. Remember to breathe all the time. Now, there's nothing wrong with you moving both hands. So if you want to change one hand and go, one is at 1 o'clock, one's at 5 o'clock, it doesn't matter to me. Whatever, as long as you visualize a clock and your hands or your fists are going around that clock. Seconds, yes, 30 more seconds. Okay, for a second, stop for a second, take a few deep breaths, rest yourself a little bit. So this is thinking, right? You were thinking about it. You know, you're visualizing the clock. You're thinking about where to place your hands. So this is that thinking part of it, right? Now you're going to try the same thing, but I want you to go by feel. So move your hands anywhere you like on a circle. It doesn't matter, and come up. Don't think about how you play. Like, don't think about a clock. Just do a push up from as many different hand positions as you can, and come up by feel. Yeah, any shape. Let it go. There's no, you don't know anything right at all. No. Guys, watch me for a sec. Watch. No. Watch. Okay. So this is between feel. When we were doing the breathing, I said to you, breathe in like and think about the breath. And then I said, when you're doing breathing by feeling, it's a pressure. Think of a pressure. So I feel pressure building up, right? Because I can't think about pressure. I got to feel pressure. If you know what I mean, right? I can't, like, I'm putting a lot of pressure on the mat. Can you see that? You got to feel it, right? You got to feel this pressure. Pressure is a felt thing, so you can't feel it. You can't. It's a felt thing. You can't think about it. Okay. So when I put my arms in a funny position, I see you guys activating your muscles. That means you're thinking, because you're preparing. You understand? That's preparing.
Okay.
So it's like the kid that tells me in class he's not going to run, but I can see him antsy, right? If for those of you that have a dog, you can see the dog's about to prepare to do something, right? I'm here, right? And what I'm doing is I'm pressurizing my body right now. I create a pressure and I come up and I remove a pressure. I'm not activating my muscles. I'm putting my hands wherever they want to go. It's like brushing my beard. I didn't tell them where to go. I just go by feel, right? I put my hands wherever they feel good on the ground. I pressurize my body and I come up, and then I remove the pressure. I didn't go through my muscles, because if you went through your muscles, that means you prepared for something. It means you prepare for something. Okay, that's the difference. It's the difference in when somebody slaps you in the face, so you just that
Yeah.
you didn't prepare for anything. You were so completely emotional, right? When you're like this, you prepared for something. And I pressurize my body. Pressure, you come up, and by pressure, you go down. Try it again. Try it again. Don't go by muscle. Don't prepare for anything. You feel the ground, and you feel pressure build up, and you go up, and you feel pressure go down. Much better. Much better. Feel the difference? Feel the difference?
Yeah.
You feel the difference, right, guys? Let me give you one more example, okay? A personal example from me, okay? So if you asked my father when he was around to do a push-up, he would never do it. It was just, why would we do a push-up? But if I told him for a moment, I heard something, some noise underneath the car when I was driving, he would go from standing into a perfect push-up, look underneath the car, I don't see anything, and then come back
Oh.
up. He saw no practicality other than the pure utility of the push-up. I need to look under something, that's it, right? So I want you to try this just to make me happy for a second. When I'm sitting here, rather than thinking about a push-up, I want to think I got to look at something. And then rather than think about going down, I want to look below something. Just imagine look over something. And then you need to look below something, somewhere else. That's it. Try with looking. See if you didn't see the push-up disappear and you didn't think about it. You just did, you saw the utility of it. I need to look somewhere and I need to look somewhere else. That's it. Look how the push-up disappears.
Right. Funny.
Did you feel that?
Yeah.
You guys, okay, very good. Come close again. Remember, 100, not even 100 years ago, let's say 100, I mean, it's probably less. There was no exercise routine. You worked on a farm. There was no like separation. You got healthy because of what you did. That's
Sure.
it. There was no separation at this. Try to see
Didn't
the
have-
difference, right? There is.
Had to do anything on
It
your own.
didn't happen. It was not. Yes. So
Ah,
can you
mhm.
please remember that? Just keep those things in
Well-
mind. Whenever you want to study something, you want to you don't want to separate it too much. See the utility of it. This is when I would need this. That's all that's important to me. Okay. Makes sense?
Uh-huh. Makes sense.
Questions at all? Questions at all? No? Okay, good. Stand up now. Nice one, stand up. Dennis behind me, right? So feet are shoulder width apart. Again, if you're struggling or you have bad knees or something, you can support yourself somehow. It doesn't really matter. But what I want you to do is be very thoughtful now, and you're going to do straight, like where Dennis is going to focus planted position, just a step, and then lower yourself, like you have to pick something up, and then come up, go back, and now step at the 1 o'clock position. Go down and come up, and then the 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and now with one step, you're making one step in a different clock position. Again, you don't have to go deep, guys. If you can go down, great. If you just go halfway, it's also fine, right? If you have like 2 sticks, like a ram, if you have like a stick or 2, you can use them like to go down. Yeah, if it supports you, yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. If it doesn't hurt too much. Yeah. Try to see the clock, and when you finish the one leg, go to the other leg. Try to keep your back straight, guys. Try to keep your back as straight as you can. Yeah. Literally imagine like you dropped your keys and you have to pick them up, but you have to keep an eye on somebody. Usually this happens in class if you drop your knife. You don't, a person wants to slap you or kick you as soon as you bend down. Very good. Stop for a second now, guys. Stay nice and straight again. So be comfortable. Close your eyes now. Close your eyes. And do the same thing now. Keep one foot stationary and move the other foot. Take a step in any direction you feel. Just take one step, bend down like you got to pick something up and come up. And you can go anywhere you like, anywhere you want. Like there's no, just take a step in any random direction. Don't think about it. and pick it up. Remember, guys, keep your back as straight as you can. Always breathe. Always breathing. Inhale, exhale, step in any position, especially random, guys. Don't worry about ankle position, can be all messed up. You can be twisted. It didn't matter. Like, you know, think of stepping in a forest. It's uneven. Everything, any direction is fine. Crisscross the legs, cross the leg behind the leg. It didn't matter. Awesome, guys. Good. Come around. Unmute if you need, if you have any question. But so, how many of you? So, some of these other analogies that I have, for those of you that are, I see most people have been around. Everybody remember the Rocky movies? Remember the Rocky series of movies, right? There was one. I think it was in. I think it was in Rocky 2, where Rocky, what made Rocky so incredible in the first Rocky series was that he was fighting, he was an unknown fighter, and he happened to, in a certain circumstances, he had a chance to fight the reigning world champion boxing. And the boxing champ at that time, Apollo Creed, had never seen this guy. He was a left-handed fighter, had never really heard about him, never fought him. And Rocky ultimately lost in the first fight, but he did something, and he was unexpected, that happened to this champion. And whenever you have things that are unexpected, they can pose a serious problem. Okay. And in Rocky 2, he eventually beat the champion, but the trainer had put in a very interesting drill. You guys remember the chicken drill? He told Rocky, "You have to catch the chicken." And he goes, "What do you mean you have to catch?" And he couldn't catch the chicken. He was like, because he goes, your muscles and your body don't have that capability. And because a chicken is unpredictable. Any of you ever tried catching chickens? I've caught a lot of chickens. It's really hard. They're stupid animals, but they're so unpredictable. They can go in any direction. Very hard to catch them, right? And he didn't have that skill set of dealing with unknown, because his opponent was very elusive, and you had to be very elusive to catch him. And then at the end, he caught the chicken and he won the fight. Many times when you guys train, you train in such a way with very static push-ups, squats, and leg raises. And one of the ways I've trained myself, that clock idea is one of the biggest gifts that was ever shown to me by nobody in System. Actually, I found this through other resources. And if you do that once a month, you will know which muscles are not working and which ones are working, because it's a different set of muscles. See, when I'm doing a push-up like this and I do it like this, it's different. Whole other set of muscles is coming to me. Whole other sets are working on that clock. The same with the leg raises, the same with the squats. When you position your feet differently, it changes everything. And if you don't believe me, look at the world champion squatters. Okay. If you ask them to move their foot 4 inches left or right, it's going to be a completely different squat. Okay. Completely different squat. So moving your feet around and doing these squats, moving your arms around doing push-ups, moving your legs around and doing leg raises is a really good way of being like that chicken drill, very elusive, right? With your strength. You will find strength in many different ways. Now, how did I learn this? How did I learn this? Because it was a hard lesson for me. I was working out every day when I was younger. I think I was bench pressing almost 400 pounds, and I was squatting almost 500 pounds. It was a lot of squat. I was really strong, dude. But then I finished working out and my dad asked me to throw out the garbage. And I grabbed the garbage bag. I went to the curb and just threw it to the curb like this. And I hurt my shoulder quite bad. And I was like, why did I hurt my shoulder? Because all the movements that I practice were very linear, but this movement was a totally different movement than I normally do. And because of that, those muscles in the shoulder were not ready. And that's how I hurt my shoulder, right? And I never let that happen again. And I said to myself, you need to make sure once in a while you do something that's completely different than you normally do, just to check and make sure all the muscles in the, especially the shoulders, the back, and the knee are prepared, okay, for those things. And if you can think of a clock, that'll cover it all. That'll cover it all. For those of you that like to do chin-ups, try different chin-ups. Like instead of going the straight, go like kind of the sideways, right? Go kind of this way, like vary the things that you're doing and you'll check and see if your body's in good alignment, okay? Because you don't want to get into a pattern. I see this happen a lot, and where people get into a pattern, they develop one set of muscles that are quite strong and the other set of muscles that are quite weak. You want to stay away from that. You want to consider your body one piece, not separated. It's one body. Like that's it. It's one body, and the whole body needs to be strong and ready for everything, but not anything. Does that make sense? That's real life. It's not everything, right? For those of you that want the analogy, a better analogy, never invite a friend who's a bodybuilder to help you move. They're useless. Okay, they're useless. They're good at those things, but they're not good at moving. Okay, you want to find your friend that's a mechanic. Okay, he's good, or a carpenter. He's good. Okay, forget about the bodybuilder. Okay, you guys feel okay? It makes sense, everything I'm saying. So please try this clock thing and try the feeling every time you can, the feeling. Another way you can try it might help is when you're eating your food, look at your food, eat it, or your drink, and then next time close your eyes and see if you can, how the food like feels, like how it makes you feel. Like good food, when you eat healthy food, guys, from the first bite, you're like, I feel stronger almost immediately. Like you can just feel it. Like it just, to me, it's a feel thing, right? So please take the time to think, but then also feel with as much as you can today, okay? You feel good, guys? I'll see you next week. Everybody can log on. You can log on to see the classes, right? Thank you, guys. Have a good week. I'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Dennis. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Dennis.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Have a good one.